Ooh, boy. Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JT, and you're watching Black Box Trading Bloody Monday. Bloody Monday. My word, what a move in Bitcoin. So, yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's just dive right into it, guys. Are we going lower? Are we going lower? Are we at the floor? What are our thoughts? What is everybody thinking here? 31 people watching live already. That's crazy. Hit the like button if you like this content being covered in real time. This pertinent information coming at you as soon as we can. We're in the new studio. We're in the new apartment. Don't have quite as epic of a background, even though my apartment is way more epic. It just so happens that the best place to point the camera is just some stupid bookcase. Anyways, you guys don't care about my fucking apartment. You care about the price of Bitcoin. So let's see here. So we lost our trade. Let's just go over to the BitGet chart for a moment. We got stopped out at another 2% loss to the books, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll take that off. We don't need that anymore. The downward sloping line of resistance is still valid, so we'll keep that there, but the trade is gone. We are no longer long on leverage. We are just long on spot. Going back over to the index chart, we are sitting on this very important support level. Let's go to the weekly and kind of paint a picture here. You know what? Let's go to a cleaner chart because I got a lot of gobbledygook on this chart. Let's go to BTC on the Bitstamp chart. Nope. Messing up all the Bitcoin charts. Let's go to Coinbase. Coinbase is nice and clean. Let's turn alphanumerics off and let's draw that line. So from the prior bull market, from the all-time high or the first high of the bull market over to here, we're coming down and testing this level. So, you know, it's not all over yet. There is still hope out there. The problem is the market is speculating on a limit down today. So for those who don't know what limit down is in the stock market, limit down is when the stock market basically closes early because there's been too many losses. They try to limit the amount of losses so they don't allow the stock market to fall to a certain level. So we haven't seen a limit down in a long time. I don't even know if we get limit down on COVID? Let's just ask our new overlord, ChatGPT. Last time we got limit down in the US stock market. Okay, so it's applying to the indexes. Yes, last time the S&P fell. Sorry guys, should have had this prepped. I'm not sure if it happened on COVID. It might have happened on COVID. It was COVID. So March 2020, March 18th, 2020 was the last time we had limit down. So man, the market is afraid out there. Very, very afraid. Rightfully so. You know, the thing is, it's, in my opinion, all part of the plan. I think that Donald Trump is doing this on purpose for a myriad of reasons. He's trying to force the hand of the Fed. So he's trying to tank the market. And he's holding all the bullish, exciting stuff off. He's forcing people to the negotiation table by implementing harsh tariffs and dramatically hurting their stock market, their local stock markets, so that they can be more willing to negotiate in favor of the U.S. Yeah, the thing is, this is so Donald Trump. This is what he did last time. And, need I remind you what happened last time? Here's Donald Trump's last term, guys. And this was a trade war. This was a trade war. This was uncertainty. This was a whole bunch of bullshit. And this is what the stock market did. I know it's hard for me to come on here and convince you that that's where we're at. And I certainly don't have the answers as to where the local bottom is. But if this support is important, then we could be looking at that local bottom currently. Let's go over to the daily chart, back over to our so risky what Trump is doing. He's not dumb. He's not dumb. Don't paint him as a fool. He's not a fool. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing some pretty hardcore shit. No argument there. Let's go back over to the index chart. So we were warning you yesterday, we were still bullish because we were long, but we were warning you yesterday, this is noteworthy. We need to address the elephant in the room of this Wyckoff distribution. Is this an LPSY? We don't need to have it labeled as a check mark, as a question mark anymore. We can label that as an LPSY because it's played out. Next thing is, are we going to hold this level? Yes or no? He might push everyone to bricks. Nah, nobody's getting off the dollar just yet. Nobody's getting off the dollar just yet. So is this level going to hold? If we lose this level, is it going to be a fast move? What's it going to be? If we limit down today on the S&P, definitely we're going to lose this level. I mean, if we don't lose this level on a limit down on the S&P, holy shit, is Bitcoin bullish. Holy shit, is Bitcoin bullish if we don't break this support level on a limit down on the S&P today. So expect downside momentum. Is that an invitation for you to short? Fuck no. Guys, be very careful with leverage. For me, this is a hands-off spot and chill situation. I am not getting fancy with this. I am not tying any leverage to this. I am not looking for longs. I am not looking for shorts in the short term around the next couple days here, because it's anyone's guess as to how this is going to play out. Let's go over to the monthly chart and kind of see where we could expect a pullback to, a wick down to. This level right here is interesting to me. This is the peak, the monthly peak back in March of last year. So that's at 71,320 here on the index chart. So we could totally see a liquidity grab go down to that level with the extended targets as low as 64. I know we're talking about some pretty big levels here, pretty big levels, but the market's afraid. The market's afraid. People don't give a shit about Bitcoin. People don't understand Bitcoin. They are paper-handed pussies that are willing to dump their Bitcoin. If 73 breaks, we have 68. Yeah, this is kind of the golden zone. This is the golden zone for me. And if we take a look at the RSI, no, the RSI doesn't really help us on the monthly, but we'll revisit the RSI on the weekly because there's some interesting things that we would want to pay attention to. But this is the Goldilocks zone, man. If we get down in here, it's going to be hard for me not to be a buyer in that area. Okay, now we still have a lot of candle left. So we already kind of talked about the monthly chart and what I would like to see as for us to flip back to bullish. I know we're still talking about bullish shit right now, but it is what it is. For us to get bullish on the month of April, we need to close above 84,000. Okay. If we close above 84,000, if we print a green candle that engulfs this candle, that's going to be a very good sign that the bottom is in and we are ready to rally up to high prices beyond that, probably into an all-time break, especially if we go down, test a liquidity zone at around 71 and wick back up to close green. That's a massive signal. So pay attention to how the month closes. Obviously that's 24 days away, so it's not happening anytime soon. But yeah, that's something to make note of. Let's go over to the weekly chart. Let's take a look at the RSI. So weekly RSI is down at 42. When was the last time that we were down at 42? Let's see. Last time we were down at 42 was here. Well, I mean, I guess down here was the 44. Yeah, this is kind of an important level to hold. Last time was back here. So once you get into this kind of zone, you can expect a bounce. And I do expect a bounce. If we limit down, when we dump, we pump. When we pump, we dump. It's the oldest thing in the world. So, I'm not worried about a recovery. I am worried about how many people are going to get shaken out on this. This is why I'm going to echo what I already said. Do not use leverage right now. This is not the time to get cheeky, okay? If you are bullish on Bitcoin, just plan your spot buys, because what's happening right now is a classic shakeout. And if you play it wrong, you will be shaken out. You will be shaken out of the market. Shakeouts, I mean, they get the best of us. They're hard to hold on to during a shakeout. But yeah, it's not over. It's not over. Trump knows what he's doing. He's done a lot of damage to the market, and all it's going to take is just one little, announcement saying, all right, we've negotiated with China, we've negotiated with Russia, we've negotiated with this, that, and the other, and we've reduced the tariffs down from 20% to 10%. Just that, the market will rally. And then if you get cooperation from the Fed, man, it's a rough go right now. Okay, it's a rough go. This has been a tricky market cycle to hold on to. It's been a tricky market cycle to get some of those leveraged plays in, but it has not been a tricky market cycle if you have been Bitcoin only and spot. So there's knowledge in that power, okay? Or there's power in that knowledge is what I meant to say. So, let the market teach you what the market's trying to teach you. All right, let's catch up with chat here. Good rainy morning from Bangkok. Good morning. I love it when it's raining in Thailand. Man, I hope you're right. Don't be so afraid, man. Don't be so afraid. 73K breaks. We have 68. Yeah. Weekly. Platinum zone. Looks like Travelers of the Sea will be a buyer in the Goldilocks zone. Anyways, the gold and Bitcoin dominance tells the truth. Yeah, we'll take a look at dominance. China's digital network launched in 2025 connects to 10 Asian and 6 Middle Eastern nations, potentially covering 38% of global trade. It's likely to bypass SWIFT with second clearing and 98% fee cut. So does Tether. But that's another thing. I'm not going to get into the weeds with Tether. Do your own research, but I believe that Tether is being captured by the United States as a way to penetrate the dollar into every country that would be interested in holding a dollar. The problem with a BRICS currency is it's going to be so much more volatile. So it is kind of a fuck you move towards the United States, and I can appreciate that because I'm not a fan of a monopoly of any kind. But I think it's easier said than done. And I think a lot of people who are going to be doing global trade are going to prefer a stable currency. So those are just my thoughts for now. Interesting. Hand orange covering eyes. Sounds like XRP. What sounds like XRP? Plus rate cuts, I noticed, also affecting the price on Bitcoin. Yep. Rate cuts just mean money printer, man. And people argue with me on this, but when money becomes cheap, banks make more loans. When banks make more loans, those loans are not backed. Those are not backed loans because of fractional reserve banking. So people are like, oh, it's not money printing, it's just lowering rates. Yeah, when the interest rates are lower, banks print more money. How do banks print money? By issuing debt. When you issue debt without holding the collateral to the debt, you've effectively printed money. So I don't want to hear people saying that that's not printing money. It is 100% printing money. If money comes out of thin air, it's printing money, and it's a result of fractional reserve banking. What up, Good Luck Duck? Welcome into the stream. All right, we got 74 people watching. Holy moly. We got 18 people watching on, we got 23 people watching on YouTube. Good Luck Duck watching on Twitch. Man, why is Twitch just not getting the love? Nobody's watching on Twitch anymore. And 57 of you watching on X. Really appreciate you. Don't forget to follow me on X. Retweet this if you would be so kind. And for those watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content with anybody that you think would get some value out of it. Back into the analysis. So let's go down to some smaller time frames. Let's check things out on the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, at this point in the day, there's really no point in me getting too into the weeds here, because it really hinges on the back of the US Open. So you gotta see what happens at US Open. If we limit down on the S&P at US Open, which is happening in about 8 or 9 hours now. When is it? I should learn. I just moved to Dubai, so my time zones are all fucked up, and I don't know what's happening when. But yeah. So if we limit down, then it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Now, there's a high expectation of all of this. So is enough liquidity taking the other side of the trade? We've already fallen quite a bit. There is the unlikely, and it's just an unlikely scenario, but it does exist, where maybe we don't limit down. In fact, maybe we just have a really volatile open and we actually show a green day. If we get a green day, then, Bitcoin's going to bounce off of this critical support, bounce off of this massive support line that we pulled from the prior cycle. So I don't know. I wish I had the answers. I'm kind of right now just processing a lot of the information in real time right now. And it's hard to process the info without the context of the US Open. We need the US Open. Once we get that, we will have a lot more data. Mauricio, appreciate your insight as always. Happy to do what I can do. Wow, getting some X following. Yeah, and not a big following. I still only got like 1,100 people following me on X. Guys, do me a favor, follow me on X. Pump those numbers up. I got like 7 times that on YouTube. How the F can we make the current school system teach our kids proper economics? Yes, it's your responsibility. You can't. They won't. The school system, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. The school system is designed to create employees. It's not designed to create entrepreneurs. And there are differences of mindset between an employee and a business owner, an entrepreneur. And we don't nurture enough of the entrepreneurial spirit. We nurture and program employees. Why? Because entrepreneurs pay less taxes than employees. Employees give half of what they earn away. They give half of it to the government. So if you are in a public school funded by the government, the curriculum is going to be catered towards creating that student into tax cattle. If you want to avoid that, homeschool your kids, or at least supplement their learning. Good Luck Duck with the link to my X. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. 97 people watching. Wow. Quite the turnout. All right, let's shift gears here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. and we're pumping, baby. We're pumping. And what have we said for literally years now? Listen, if you are a heavy altcoin bag holder right now, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get through to you. I'm sorry that, the prospect of gains clouded your ability to interpret the data that was set before you. But, we've been saying, for over 2 years now, it is not the time for alts. It is not the time for alts. And if you listened to that, you made a shit ton of money in Bitcoin. Let's just revisit Bitcoin here. From the market lows, we were in at 18. Some people needed some convincing. We'll go with the convincing level of 25. You're up 200% in Bitcoin. You have 200% more Bitcoin. And it's been very, very advantageous for you to stay away from altcoins, at least with any heavy positions. Anybody who's been watching the channel for a while knows that I went hard in the ordinals space, but that was minting. I wasn't making investments in the ordinal space. That was just minting stuff, experimenting with, the new functionality that's been brought to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has smart contracts. That was exciting. So I started to experiment with Bitcoin smart contracts and stuff like that. And I ended up with a bunch of shitcoins, but I haven't made that rotation into altcoins. And if you guys are wondering when to make that rotation into altcoins, you have two options: either subscribe to the channel and listen to when I say it, do it, or watch this chart. We are range bound in this chart. As long as this chart keeps climbing higher with green candles, you do not want to fucking touch altcoins at all. You do not want to touch altcoins. So yeah, anyways, shout out to anybody that did listen to that, and shout out if you are grateful for that information, if that has helped you save yourself from a lot of pain, whether it was directly from me or not. Just you focusing on the Bitcoin dominance chart, it's key. Oh, we got one other viewer on Twitch, and they're a spammer. Nice. We're doing a cheat sheet for my kids as we speak. Your channel is on the top of the YouTube watch list. Oh, thank you. It's a fun experiment or a fun exercise that you can do with your kids. Play Monopoly with them, and you're the banker. And right in front of them, just keep taking money from the bank and buying property with it. Just keep cheating right in front of them. And then tell them that that's how the current system works. That this is how the system works. You need to work for your money, and the bankers don't. We just get to create it. And they will say it's not fair. And you will tell them, yes, that is right. And then that's a great segue into learning about hard money in Bitcoin. Okay, do we dare go into altcoins? Let's see how XRP BTC is doing. As expected, we're kind of rounding over, kind of curling over here. We've said on numerous occasions, below this line, bearish. Above this line, bullish. We were below it, we're bearish. We will probably come back down to the middle of this parallel channel. This is a long parallel channel. This is a massive accumulation here for XRP, which is a good thing, but there's short-term pain that comes with it, I think. So coming back down to the middle of this is likely what's going to occur. So come back down, kind of find support here for, I don't know, a month or two, and then head up to higher levels. So that's XRP. That's XRP. Cardano kind of seems pointless to look at this point. Yeah, we're losing the level on Cardano. That's bad news bears for Cardano if you are a Cardano bull. Yeah, the next major support is going to be here. You can expect Cardano to come back down to that level. So discounts are coming. Discounts are coming. Same story over here on Solana. Let's bring Solana up. Solana getting a spanking. Solana's getting a spanking as usual. No degen meme coin trading means no number go up on Solana. Simple as that. The meme coiners are gone. The rug pulls are around, but nobody's buying rug pulls. And so Solana's hurting. Solana is suffering. No rugs, no we've got to come up with a slogan. No rugs, no funds. No rugs, no pumps. I'm not sure. We'll figure out something cute for that. But no rugs and no fun for Solana. We're coming down. It's being devalued because Solana's value is based off of its ability to scam other people. And people ain't getting scammed anymore because they're fucking broke. So yeah, it's heading to the downside as well. Track took a beating as well. Pretty much erased all the gains. But we're coming up to, we're coming up to a floor here. We're developing a floor. Like we placed this line. I'm not getting excited until we're above this line. We came up to that line, got rejected from the excitement line. I'm not getting excited until we get above that line. So this is me being boring. Bitcoin will pump after the next FOMC meeting on May 7th. If the market keeps tanking, absolutely. I don't think the Fed has any other option. They need to stimulate the economy. They need to create some bullishness out there. So I think that, they play the cards as though they're apolitical. They are political. They want there to be confidence in the market because confidence breeds confidence brings entrepreneurialness, and that's how you increase GDP of a country. So Trump's forcing their hand. That's what's going on here. That's what's annoying, and that's what's frustrating for a lot of people. Is there's a whole bunch of people that don't understand what's going on, and they're just blaming Trump for wrecking everything. But then there's other people who are also frustrated that Trump is taking such a drastic approach to the market. But I think he knows what he's doing. I think he has a plan, and I actually think that everything is going according to plan. So, yeah, it's just we have to endure this bullshit. That's what it is, really. It's bullshit. But the system is built entirely on a castle of bullshit. The system is rigged. The system is broken. I don't think any one man can fix it. Trump is trying to fix it, but he's breaking a lot of shit. But what's the old saying? You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. It's just, it's a tricky situation. I don't think anybody has the solution. I don't care who you are. There's no real solution to erasing 50, 60, 70, 80 years of damage to the Constitution of the founding fathers of America, and doing everything in their power to prevent a scenario like this happening. There's been a ton of damage throughout your lifetime and throughout your parents' lifetime. You're not 1 4-year term from a fucking orange president ain't going to change anything. He can try, and that's what he's trying to do. But it's not going to be very fruitful because there's been so much systemic damage to the perfect system that was put in place during early America. Almost perfect. Would have been perfect. It sounded perfect. But absolute power corrupts absolutely. I mean, all I see is a discount, even though I'm very heavy in stacks and I'm freaking holding. I'm going to double my position and also some track and ICP. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be going into alts until you saw that rotation take place, but certainly a nice little discount on Bitcoin. Why would BTC be tied in with the market / tariffs? Shouldn't BTC go up with market instability as far as institutions go, especially in post-halving years? That's a really good question, Ramsey. The answer is it should. Mathematically, fundamentally, yes. But nobody understands Bitcoin, including most people who hold Bitcoin. 99% of the world does not hold or think about Bitcoin. And within Bitcoin, I'm going to guess that 90% of people that hold Bitcoin don't understand Bitcoin. So there's a very few amount of people that actually get Bitcoin and understand how it works in the face of uncertainty in the markets. But at the end of the day, there's an exchange rate and there's an order book and there is an exchange. And the exchange order book sets the price of Bitcoin based off of the collective groupthink and speculation of a bunch of people that don't understand what Bitcoin is. So it's going to be correlated with sentiment, and it's going to be correlated with the indexes. It's going to be tied to the macroeconomic events. The only way that it can decouple from that is with a narrative. And the only way that a narrative can be developed, and I've thought about this for a very long time, I thought that maybe this would be kind of the scenario that frees Bitcoin from the correlation of the market, is if we see a situation where everything tanks, which, we could be looking at that situation now. Everything tanks. And then when everything tanks, one thing comes back really fast and one thing comes back really strong. And that's because the fundamentals of Bitcoin are so strong, and it forces people to learn about the fundamentals of Bitcoin. The fundamentals of stocks are they're overvalued. They're overvalued. Real estate, overvalued. Commodities, overvalued. Debt, money, financing, all of the financial products all over the world, overvalued. Bitcoin is the only thing that's undervalued, but you need to kind of strip away all of the speculation for you to be able to see that, for the market to be able to truly see that. And the only way to strip away speculation is to hurt people hard. You have to hurt them to the point at which they don't have money to speculate with anymore. And when all of the speculative money is gone, what is left is intrinsic demand. And the intrinsic demand everything falls together and one thing rises out of it, the phoenix out of the ashes. And that's a scenario that I think would happen with Bitcoin. And if it doesn't happen now, it's going to happen later. I honestly, and it pains me to say this because I'm a hardcore Bitcoin maxi. I'm a hardcore Bitcoin maxi. I live entirely on a Bitcoin standard. I don't touch dollars. I travel the world and I always have 100% of my wealth with me because 100% of my wealth is in Bitcoin. And it pains me to say that I don't think the world is ready for Bitcoin. I really don't. I think that, we are on a technological adoption wave, an adoption curve, and there's only so much that you can do. Like if you just go ask some random person, hey, do you know what the price of Bitcoin is? They're going to say no because they don't pay attention. You know the price of Bitcoin because you open up your fucking phone and you're looking at the price of Bitcoin every 10 minutes. It's like you may as well be a miner validating blocks. You're looking at the Bitcoin price so much. Nobody does that. Nobody even thinks about it. People will go months and months. They'll hear about Bitcoin. Oh, that sounds interesting. And then they'll go months of never hearing about it again and never thinking about it once or thinking about the money once. It's easy for us to forget that because we're so entrenched in what I believe to be a digital revolution. But the reality is nobody's thinking about this shit. So we need a narrative to take place, and we don't have enough people to build a strong enough narrative to carry the reality of what Bitcoin is to enough people. Really long-winded. Sorry. I hope you guys didn't think that was too ranty, but yeah. I think the ETFs are the reason. Yeah. I mean, their exposure. What are your thoughts on bitmaps now? So I think this too shall pass. I don't think that the market cycle's over. Somebody said we start rallying in May at the FOMC meeting. I still think that that's true. We're experiencing a pullback and it's deeper than I anticipated. So the price that I anticipated is lower than I anticipated. But I don't think that the bull market's over either. I think altcoins are going to come back. I think Bitcoin dominance is going to fall. I think Bitcoin's going to break new all-time highs and fucking do incredible gains that are going to take a lot of people off guard because they're unfathomable numbers. Now today it's kind of hard to make that case, but that's still how I feel. I think that the economy is going to have a V-shaped recovery. Right now everything is so negative, everything is so bearish, everything is so discounted that, you know, we really have nowhere else to go but up. If we scare this many people, there's going to be no one left to sell. Everybody will have sold. If we start limit gapping down on the indexes, you know, you do that for a day or two or three, we're done. We're done. The bottom's in. High volume event has occurred. I can't tell you what price we will be at in the context of that, but we are so close to a bottom, and this is not a bear market. This is not a 2-year bear market, 2-year, 3-year bear market. We're still in the bull market, in my opinion. And yeah, we just got to let it play out. That's why I'm saying, you know, stick to the spot markets. It's a lot easier to keep your head straight. So what do I think about bitmaps? Nothing's changed. I think bitmaps are going to be at a higher price at which I minted them at, which they technically are now. I think we're going to enter a high volume event where we will enter into a mania where all ordinals, BRC20s, shitcoins, meme coins, all of it, DPIN, everything is going to go into a mania phase. And during that time, I'm going to be selling the bitmaps because they're worthless. They were worthless when I minted them, and they're worthless now, and they'll be worthless when somebody wants to buy them for me for obscene amounts of money at the top of the market. If the U.S. enters a recession and stocks continue correcting, what are the chances that BTC will continue the 4-year cycle? So I actually don't think that Bitcoin's really on a 4-year cycle. I think Bitcoin follows global liquidity. And the global liquidity cycle just so happens to kind of be around a 4-year cycle. Let's pull up M2. We've done this a few times, but yeah, we'll pull up M2. There we go. So M2 is kind of, it's lagging Bitcoin a little bit. So you can see the top of M2 happened 80 days before Bitcoin's top happened. So there's like an 80-ish day. It's not set in stone. It is quite variable. Sometimes it's more correlated than other times. But let's just say the last one was 80 days, so we can expect this one to be 80 days. So here is the reversal of M2. This is money printing, by the way. This is the global money printing. So if this is the reversal, we can expect that in 80 days we can reverse. And that's pretty much... Oh God, I can't see anything. I mean, we're pretty much there. So this might be the reversal. Like, this might be the reversal candle. Or the next week. So the bottom, yeah, I don't know. According to M2 and its lag, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it is. We can see that there is a reflexivity to Bitcoin that's more tied to gold, by the way. Gold seems to be more correlated to M2 than Bitcoin. Bitcoin's got a lag. Gold seems to be somewhat correlated in real time. If they keep printing money, the number will go up. It's just a matter of shaking off negative sentiment. Did that answer your question? Yeah, if U.S. enters a recession, what are the chances of Bitcoin returning to a 4-year cycle? I think that, yeah, like I said, it all has to do with global liquidity. If global liquidity dries up for 10 years, Bitcoin's going to be in a 10-year bear market. If M2 expands faster than anybody's seen it expand and we go into hyperinflation, Bitcoin's going to be in a massive bull market. The 4-year cycle is almost planned by Satoshi. I wouldn't be surprised if he literally planned it around global liquidity cycles. Hash rate is flying. You're right about the hash war. Nowadays, we have a lot of empty Bitcoin blocks. That mean weak hands and no more Bitcoin to sell? Well, there's a lot of factors. The ETFs play into that as well, because the ETFs are not posting that many Bitcoin transactions. If 1,000 people sell their ETFs, they're going to batch that into one transaction. But this goes back to the fact that I said, Bitcoin, nobody uses Bitcoin. Nobody uses Bitcoin. If people are freaking out about empty blocks today, and I'm not saying you're freaking out, by the way, but there are people out there that are freaking out that Bitcoin has empty blocks. Guys, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. You're too early for that to matter. Bitcoin having empty blocks at this point is like people freaking out that the internet didn't have, the same peak users as it did the prior month. It's a non-issue. If we were at like 50% adoption rate, or hell, if we were at 25 or 30% adoption rate and we were seeing orphaned and empty blocks, that would be an issue. But we're at like 1% adoption and 90% of the people in here just buy Bitcoin on an exchange. They're not actually doing Bitcoin transactions. Most people who claim to like hold Bitcoin, or some of them even call themselves Bitcoiners, they don't even post transactions. They're just trading on centralized exchanges and whatnot. So I'm not worried. Mining is a self-balancing system. If the miners are not profitable, they shut down their machines. When they shut down their machines, the difficulty adjustment goes down. When the difficulty adjustment goes down, it becomes more profitable for the miners that left their machines on. It's a self-balancing system. It doesn't matter. It's a self-balancing system. The block reward is still intact. You can mine an empty block, you still get Bitcoin for it. So I'm not worried about any of that. Can you check the chart of ICP? I think we've had enough depression in this live stream. You really want me to look at ICP? It's down only, man. Down only. Yikes. Yeah, so we've gone over this a few times. We have a downward sloping line of resistance that's newly established. Until we're above that, there's nothing to be excited about. Until we're above this line. It's the same story with ETH. We got a lot of flack on ETH. We beat the shit out of the ETH community and said, don't buy if it's below this line. Don't buy if it's below this line. Don't buy if it's below this line. We had this downtrend for years. It's the same shit. We have a downtrend. Don't buy below this downtrend. And look at what's happened. It's given away everything. It's at 2 million sats per ETH. It's horrendous. We tried to warn people about that for quite literally years. And ICP is no different. I'm not taking a position in ICP when it looks like this. Don't buy below the line. The only place I might, if I was like a super hyper ICP bull, if I wanted to add to a position that was already pre-existing, I would buy again at 282. But other than that, it's just not the time for altcoins. Guys, I don't know. This is where I start to head into the territory of getting people angry at me. I don't want to get people angry at me, but I've said it multiple times. Protocols are winner take all. Technologies are winner takes most of the time. And there's a very big difference. That's why Apple, in theory, can't stay at the top forever. If there is a better Apple that comes out, Apple will lose market share. But as it stands right now, Apple and Microsoft, they are the best technologies, and they capture most of the market. But their machines run on protocols. There's one internet protocol. There's one email protocol. There's one DNS naming protocol. Protocols are winner take all. Technologies are winner take most. And at the risk of making people angry, I'm going to tell you that Bitcoin is no different. We are talking about value transfer protocols. Bitcoin will be the only one. It might take us 20 years to figure that out, because if you look to the early days of the internet, there was several different internets, and they all had their different features, and there were fast throughput internets that were functioning way better than the original internet, but they were centralized, and they had all of the issues that come along with centralized entities, and the companies would go out of business. So the internet goes down. And what ended up happening over the early days of the internet is we just ended up using the original open source decentralized version of the internet. It's winner take all. Bitcoin will be the only one. Like I said, it might take us 20 years to get there. 20 years to realize that, and you can make money because you've never been able to speculate. You've never been able to buy shares in the internet before. But ultimately, altcoins are test nets for Bitcoin. If there is a truly good idea out there, if there's a truly good idea, it will be repeated on Bitcoin. Why? Because it can. It can be repeated on Bitcoin. If it's a good idea, we will add it to the protocol stack of Bitcoin. But final settlement, everything, it's Bitcoin's the only one. Call me a maxi, call me retarded, call me whatever, say all the things that, altcoiners like to say when somebody challenges their worldview. But if you take an objective look at the history of protocols, very important for you to understand what a protocol is. They're winner take all, man. It's usually the first one because it's network effects. Don't buy ICP. Not yet. Not until Bitcoin dominance starts falling and it keeps on climbing. Don't buy ICP. Just say it, bro. Nobody will feel bad. It's not true. I've been doing this a long time. I get a lot of flack. I get a lot of hate, and my channel is as small as it is because I'm not a shill. My channel would be 70,000 subscribers. No joke. If I just came on here and said, your project is the best, these are all the reasons why your project is awesome, and just shilled bullshit tokens and never talked about get Bitcoin and accepted all of the deals that I'm getting in the emails from all these people who are wanting to pay me money to promote their shit. I've been offered, oh God, over the years, no joke, I'm not exaggerating. Over the years, I have been offered, when you add all of the companies up, when you add everybody that's made an offer to me, I have passed on over $1 million in ad revenue from shitcoin projects. And it's a little bit frustrating because I look at the other channels that do shill the projects and they grow. They grow because not only are they, getting paid from the company to shill their token, they adopt the community that's all bullish on the token, and then the community gets rugged, but they're still on the channel, and they get the algorithms get triggered and all this shit. Anyways, I appreciate anybody that does subscribe to this channel because I'm not a shill. I'm a hardcore Bitcoiner. I'm a trader. I'm going to trade shitcoins. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to trade shitcoins. When I see an opportunity in the market for me to stack more sats, I fucking take it. And I've done very well taking those opportunities. So if you're wanting to follow in that world, I got your back. And so far, everything I've said on this channel has turned out to be true, with the exception of the short-term price of Bitcoin. But the long-term macro stuff, stay out of alts, be in Bitcoin, watch Bitcoin dominance, stay the fuck out of ETH. All of the things that I've been parroting for a long time have ended up being true and have saved a lot of people a lot of money. But yeah. Anyways, I digress. Why am I getting pinged? It's normal, man. You got to make a living. It's a predatory world in crypto. Man, I'm like barely talking about charts right now. You guys like this shit? I feel like I'm barely talking about charts. How many people watching, by the way? How many people watching? 100 people watching on on X. Holy shit. That is fantastic. Guys, follow me on did I say Twitch? X. Follow me on X. Tons of people watching me on X. On Twitch is only 2 people. Sorry, I didn't mean to. It wasn't Twitch, it was X. But yeah, like, subscribe, join the movement. I'm here. I got your back. I've got a level-headed approach to the market. We can make a shit ton of money, but we got to be accepting of the facts as we see them in real time. And altcoin season hasn't started yet. Where do you think we bottom on BTC? We don't know. We got to see the market open. I might even go live again today at market open because it's such a big opening today. Or maybe I'll tweet. Maybe I'll tweet my thoughts. Because we don't know. Let's go back to Bitcoin. We need that market open. Where's the bottom? I mean, dude, it's anybody's guess. It could be high 70s. It could be high 60s, low 70s. This could be the bottom right here. You could be seeing it in real time. If we gap up for whatever reason, just take everybody completely off guard at the market open, then the bottom's in. But yeah, where are we sitting? We're sitting right on that. Did we pierce it? Did we pierce this low? This is the lowest price. Yeah, we pierced that low. We pierced that low, so we're probably heading lower. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we come back down to the lower 70s. Lower 70s, high 60s, something like that. How long we stay there is anybody's guess. I'm staying off of leverage. Did the leverage on our last trade. Got spanked again. We just got to let this shit shake out. We got to let it shake out. We should have listened to alphanumerics right from the get-go. But Donald Trump fucking tricked us. Because I think it was like right after. We got this low and then Bitcoin Strategic Reserve came out immediately after. And I was like, ah, shit, maybe we can hold. Because I was going to sell right here. I was like, I had it all mapped out. You guys know if you've been watching, I had it all mapped out. I'm like, okay, we dumped. We're probably going to get a reversal up to this level. I'll sell out because our wave turned red. I'll sell out. And I didn't because that was the strategic Bitcoin reserve day. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I should hold. Should have stuck with the plan. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Can't make money on shoulda, coulda, woulda. Should have stuck with the plan. But the wave is red. So, you know, we got to be bearish. We got to be bearish in the until we can get some things to be bullish about. So it'll probably take a few weeks. Probably last 2 weeks of blood. I think if we are going to get bloody, it's going to be a matter of days, not weeks. We might trade sideways for a while. We might get, a dead cat bounce and a retest over a week or two. But if it's going to get nasty, it'll get nasty quick. So, and it might be a day or two. Tops 3. If it's 3, then the world is really panicked, and there will probably be some sort of executive order to kind of stop the pain coming from the current administration. There's going to be something that is said if we have 3 days of like limit gap down or a limit down on the S&P. But yeah, it'll be quick. So we'll see. Worth it to sell it all now and buy back lower? That's just not something that I advise on. Sorry. Feel me maybe going into the 60s. You got to make your own decisions on how you manage your portfolio. I'm wait and see. If you want to know what I'm doing, I'm not doing much. I'm wait and see right now. So if you are in a position to follow that strategy, go right ahead. I'm in at much, much lower levels. I'm in sub $20,000. So I have afforded myself the grace to watch what happens. If that's not you and you can't handle the pain, like just put yourself into the future and think like, if we're at 64, what is your emotional state going to be? And if your emotional state is like, holy fuck, I've ruined everything, I've ruined my life, blah, 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 then you're probably overexposed and you need to figure out a way to limit that. But the other side of the coin is usually during days of panic, that's when the bottoms are in. So where it's a very red day, there's a lot of people who are very scared. We don't know what's going to happen next. Anybody that comes on here and tells you they know what the fuck's going to happen next is probably a scammer. You can just make decisions based off of how things play out in real time. So I can't tell you what to do with your money, man. Real innovation can't be buried forever. It won't be, Maynarth. It will be taken and put in on Bitcoin. If it's real innovation, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the unique thing about a protocol. If there's real innovation that's like amazing, it will be brought onto the Bitcoin network. Because you can add anything to a protocol. All right. I think that's it. We're getting a little long here, but I appreciate everybody watching. Man, tons of people watching. I'm stoked. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe. If you guys want to get into the Discord, by the way, where we're hanging out and sharing trades, then go to blackbox.pro. I don't have anything queued up here. I should be a little bit more prepared. Blackbox.pro. There we go. Go to blackbox.pro. That is BLKBöX.pro. Create your free Bitcoin trading bot. We give you this free dashboard. We can actually go into the dashboard. Let's say hi. Let's say hi to our positions. And yeah, we're down. But yeah, once you're logged into your free dashboard, join the Discord here. There are links below, but before you click those, understand that those have extra verification steps. If I'm telling you the easiest way to get into the Discord, we have hoops. Just because it's free doesn't mean it's easy. It's free, but we have hoops that you got to jump through if you want to get into the Discord. And those hoops involve creating a black box account. Email, password, boom. You got a black box account. It's not that big a deal. But use the Discord link that's in the dashboard. Don't use the links that are linked below. Don't use the links that are in the link tree in my bio, unless you want to go through the extra verification steps that are in place to keep scammers out. If you want a free way to travel into the Discord, go through the verification steps with blackbox.pro. That is all the time. Oh, we got one more question here. You think Trump will back down on tariffs? Yes, I do. And what are the chances Fed steps in before FOMC? Very unlikely. They will go according to plan. So expect all of this to get a lot better in May. That is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Please retweet. Do all the things. You know where you're watching. You know how it all works. And until next time, please trade safe.